Hi everybody, this is Katie. Welcome to episode 2 of Botanical Garden Getaway. Today I'm going to be working on the area directly in front of the museum and resident services, and I'm going to be doing a theme that I'm calling an outdoor cafe style theme. It's a little bit loosely titled, but more it's about the color scheme that's involved. And as I start this area, I'm putting down the brick path. I already know when I put this path down that I'm going to be covering it up with a custom pattern. And then I start about putting in the fencing. So all around the perimeter of the area, I'm using the brick fencing. That's the themed fencing for this particular theme. And then you'll notice I switch over to a dark dirt pattern. This dark dirt is a pattern that I will be using a lot, not just here in this area, but all over the island. It's supposed to be a botanical garden exhibit, and with that being said, it would be very cultivated and have professional gardeners taking care of it. So I want all the flowers to look as if they're in a flower bed and they're being placed very carefully and very intentionally in the area. I had to move some of the cliff back a little bit because I decided I wanted the fencing to go all the way around resident services, and then here I'm continuing it on the other side of the museum. I realize it's one space off, but I decided I didn't care. I wanted the spacing to be the way that it is. Well, with all of that in place, I am starting to plan out where these marketplace banners are going to be. If you're not familiar with this item, it is part of the specialty things that you can get if you play Pocket Camp, and then at least play it long enough that you can get the items in Animal Crossing New Horizons. If you aren't already playing Pocket Camp, or if you're not interested in it, then they are pretty easy to find if you trade on Discord groups or places like Nookazon. After getting the banners, I'm getting a pretty good feel for the area, and the banners really determine the theme for me. They are going to do the color scheme, and I know it looks a little odd right now. I'm putting this funny blue flower pattern down on the ground. It's just a placeholder. I know I'm going to create a new custom pattern in that spot, but I hadn't done it yet, so I used the spot that I will be using and just put it in place. I'm going to create a little bit of a pattern to go underneath the street lamps, but I hadn't decided yet what I wanted, so I just used the pattern that was in that spot already. Here you can see I have the plaza tile style custom pattern that I've put down on top of the brick pathing that's already in place. I really like the way that the brick shows from underneath just a little bit and looks kind of like grout. You can see these 3 cute little villagers behind me exercising away. I absolutely loved when they started doing this. I actually had to stop and do a little footage because they were so cute. I slowed down just a minute, I took a pause, and I went ahead and designed, you can see this little square pattern. We oftentimes do circles, but I really liked the way the square has a diamond influence in it that matched the theme in the area already. So I created that and then picked the speed back up again. Here you can see the fountain that I already customized into brown. At the moment, I am picking up some of the plants and flowers, even some of the trees that have already grown and are ready to put in place. They are stashed on the beaches and the side of the island I am not choosing to use first, and I usually cut these type of scenes out, but I thought it would be really important for you to see that I look as if I'm doing everything in one flow. I usually edit out any trips where I go pick up greenery and any trips where I go sell things or buy things or toss things, and any trips where I go back to my house to put things in my pocket and to take things out of my inventory. Those are the type of things that we are going to do regularly when we're designing, and so I left it in just this one time so I could let you know that I usually edit that out because it's boring, but don't feel as if everything is just absolutely being held in my pocket at once. I'm continuing forward on the build by placing down some of the custom patterns as well as the dirt path so that I know where everything is going, the different pots for the flowers as well as the different locations for seating. This is where I'm going to be putting tables and chairs down. Again, I wanted it to look as if it were a bistro style. as if there were food options available, maybe in resident services or the museum, and you could pick up a sandwich and come and sit out and enjoy a little bit of time in the middle of the botanical gardens with the river next to you. Seems a little idyllic to me, and exactly the kind of place you would want to visit if you were going to come and go to a botanical gardens. I put down a little dirt in this location here, and I decided I needed some height, so I dropped a tree in place. It's part of why I do grow trees up, is so that I can put them down and immediately see what they're going to look like in an area. I'm also choosing to put palm trees down here and there on the island, and I'm doing that because I want it, again, to look as if it's a tropical island that is holding this botanical garden. The palm trees aren't going to be super prolific in every area, just here and there to add a little bit of that nice bright green. I really like the way that it makes things look lush. Anytime that you're going to use a palm tree on the grass, you're just going to put a little bit of sand down. It's just a nice trick for those of you who may not know. That's how I planted this palm tree down in the middle of the grass. I'm adding in a few more of those. These are the banners from the pocket camp again, and some of the lamp posts. And as I was putting things in place, I was also considering what was going to go in here. I have one more statue in my pocket that is the familiar one. This is one of the items you can get from Red that goes in the museum. I really liked the way it looked, just like the kind of statue you would see in a garden. So I'm just considering where things might go and how I might put them. Right here with the table and chairs, I actually stopped to count out how many squares there were so that I could center them. It's one of the nice things about having tiles is that it's easier to measure and count. And went into my pocket. I'm missing one more thing. You know, it's another trip back to the house. That's fine. Now and then you'll see that's when I do that cut screen. So I go pick up more bushes and I go grab that last cat grass out of my inventory. I'm starting to put final touches into this area. It's really coming together, and as I start getting the trees, they add some height to it that I really enjoy, and I'm starting to see the potential that this area has. So I'm excited to complete what is the very first themed area here on the Botanical Garden Getaway Island. It's always a really fun adventure to start new themes, and this was a really, really fun first area. Let's go take a look. I added in the tiny library. I've decided to include those here and there and pretend as if they have garden maps in them instead of books. You'll see I have the fortune cookie cart and popcorn cart out here in front. Again, the kind of area you could grab some food and come and just sit and enjoy the ambiance of the garden. Coming down here, you'll see I did go ahead and customize the fountain into the brown, and I've just added in some seating. I hope you guys found something useful here and continue creating in this game. Until next time, have the best Animal Crossing day.